Okay, folks, there's a quick review of the Batman figure that was produced by Mattel as a part of the Batman Classic TV series line of products. And I picked this up at Walmart for $15.97. Okay, so when I first got this figure out of its packaging, I liked its overall appearance. This looks to be a fairly good rendition of how Batman looked on the show. And one thing I also liked is that his cape is made of cloth and not some sort of an unyielding plastic. However, when I compared this figure to the other DC figures that I have, it looks like his feet may be a bit on the narrow side. But as you can see, the figure is standing up fairly well on its own. Alright, paint apps on the figure were pretty good for the most part. I did find one area on his mask where the eyebrow was a little bit messed up, but there were no other appreciable errors to speak of. Alright, the articulation joints on the figure moved pretty well. I had no problem in moving the neck, the shoulders, the upper biceps, the elbows, the wrists, the hips, the knees, or the ankles. And there's also additional articulation just above his knee. So let me pause here, zoom in, and I'll give you a closer look as to what Batman looks like. Okay. Alright, unfortunately there were no accessories included in the package, but he did come with a figure stand complete with a collectible card. So let me pan down real quick and I'll show you what those items look like. Okay, so here is the figure stand and the collectible card. Now the card also has an additional picture on its back, which I believe is a piece of a Batcave puzzle. So let me turn the card over real quick, show you what that looks like, which there it is. Okay, turn it back over to the other side, and we'll continue on with the review. Now, at first, I thought that the stand seemed like it was an appropriate size for this figure to stand on, but as I discovered, if you try to clip this collectible card into the base itself, you're going to have problems trying to display this card, as the base, it just looks like it's too small to fit this card onto for an appropriate display. And also, the card can potentially be damaged when you're trying to put it into the stand as well as take it out. So my advice to you is to find another way to display it more appropriately. And I will say that I do like the decal on the figure stand with this POW slogan on it. It looks just like I remember it from when I was watching the show on TV. And the figure does peg into place on the stand rather firmly. Alright, back to the figure itself. What I'll do now is a quick 360 of Batman for you, and I'll let you see what he looks like from all sides. So here he is from the front. Okay, here he is from the left. From the rear. Okay, here he is from the right-hand side. And finally, here we are once again, facing forward. So overall, I have to say that I do like this figure. It looks good, and there really aren't any complaints to speak of, aside from the included figure stand potentially damaging the card with repeated insertions and removals of it. And I also didn't like that his feet look to be a bit too narrow when compared to other DC figures that I have. So therefore, I think this Batman figure should get a good bordering on great recommendation. Personally, I feel that this isn't a bad figure to have for your collection, especially if you're in my age bracket and you grew up watching this show during its first broadcasts. Okay, so on that note, take care and stay tuned for my next review. Have a good one.